this is Grinstar, and today I want to take something and filter it to get back a sine wave. The theory is that these waves right here, they're definitely not sine wave shaped. So what we want to do is we want to look at the spectrum here, and let me turn this down a bit so that it's not as loud in my ear. In the spectrum, you have the fundamental, and then you got these partials or harmonics down here. They're what help drive the sound, the style of sound from with the shape of the this square wave right here. So what we want to do is we want to try to filter it to get back to the fundamental and see if I can't shape the definite saw that you see here, this up down type of thing, into more of a sine wave. Just kind of a theory. Thought of this while I was on my walk the other day, and I was curious if you could actually do it. So let's grab the filter. And what you can either do is I'm going to try to do a kind of a bandpass here. And let's look at the output. So basically it's still kind of showing there, but basically it's getting to be more of a sine wave, because basically we're filtering on the fundamental and we're cutting away all of the other partials and harmonics. And the more we focus on the bandpass going to it, the more pronounced it gets, and the more amplitude that you see in there, and the lesser harmonics you see. They're still there. I think you could probably get it back if you distort it and then bring them back again. Sort of. Either way, kind of a cool concept is being able to take something and try to get back to the sine wave fundamental. Do you really need that? No, but it helps explain the kind of that everything is made up of sine waves type of thing, with like a Fourier transform. That's one of the theories that or actual explanations that all sound are basically sine waves. So what I want to do is taking something more complex and seeing if we can't apply the same techniques. Okay, on to the next experiment. We got a basically phase distortion set up here. And as you can see, the signature on this oscillator is really crazy. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to add the filter. And we're back to a sine wave. Easily enough. So realistically, if you add more and more sine waves, you get more and more complex sound. I believe that's called additive synthesis. And in the background, why this is important to me is that I am kind of toying the last couple of the JSFX and Reaper, the programming. What I've been doing is I've been making a instrument of sine waves, and I've been adding sine waves and saw waves, and I've been trying to add partials or harmonics through the code to the sine wave to build a better sound. I've been trying to build a sound depending on trying to add random harmonics to it at random times to try to do a variant sound. Is I'm getting some really interesting results with it. Hopefully I'll get a lot better and do another video on what I'm doing because it's actually really cool. But the base theory right here is that basically you could take this bandpass and move it to the fundamental, and you'd still get that sine wave. And so all the partials are still sine waves. They're just kind of basically, if you look at the spectrum analysis rather than the basically sine wave, 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 you get the picture. it's a sine wave that goes I mean multiple sine waves that go all the way down to produce that sound. And then some of them, the kind of the characteristics that I'm seeing here in different sounds is just the different harmonics that are playing out. And you know that's kind of relevant with physical modeling also, is that instead of adding onto it, they kind of for what I see is that they limit it, or they filter it down to the core competencies of what you need. And then that's how they get it, or at least some of the different methods that I've seen people do it. So overall, pretty cool stuff. If you're into the science of why this sound, it sounds like it does, or why, you know, how things exist and how you can replicate them, because that's kind of what I've been really into lately, is replicating the overall makeup of the sound. So therefore, if I were to screenshot this and then work on building the sound back together again, I would be able to, just by replicating what the partials or the harmonics are doing. So if I take off the filter, I should be able to replicate the sound in this way, just by adding in what the 20 or 30 harmonics that you see that makes up the whole spectrum, or at least that's the theory. Realistically, there's a lot of difference in the harmonics at the level of when like pitch and timing and stuff like that actually make up the whole sound. You also have a time domain, or over time, not just looking at a frequency level, but what happens at that frequency over time. That's also makes up the sound. So you got a lot of play and movement in there too. So you got to have controls and things to be able to help you with that. But overall, kind of cool. Let me go for one more experiment. Okay, one more experiment, and then I'm gonna go. Basically, I went into my samples, grabbed something really crazy from the glitch machines people. And as you can see on the spectrum, goes all over the place. If we look at the oscilloscope, it kind of bounces all over the place. So let's apply our filter, or bandpass. And it's kind of there. Not as clean as it could be. There's a lot of difference in uh, the peaks and valleys on there, especially when it gets frozen. Maybe altering another filter and doubling which one? Wrong one. Doubling down on the filter and making it. We're kind of getting a sign, but not with the peaks and valleys, but not really um not really perfect. And in fact, the amplitudes on here adjust a lot. Unlike the normal stuff that we're doing, and that makes sense because with the other ones um we're given a very stringent, very formal, or very linear type of basically it will always remain constant. It's always going the same rate. But with this one, there's a lot of different variation in the amplitudes at that precise millisecond or nanosecond, depending on the between these things, these peaks and these valleys, that give it an overall difference in how it's doing. So basically, it starts off small, goes bigger, and then goes back small, and then the second time it goes actually bigger. And some of these got the double peaks, and there's a lot of variation into this. So if we go over here, and then let's freeze it, it should technically be easier. should be technically easier to get a sine wave, and look, it's not. It's. I'm still having to play it here. So, huh, interesting. And it kind of helps what I want to do, anyways, because basically it's just telling me that everything's not as linear, sound wise as it could be, and there's still some sort of pattern to it. It's not just random, but the peaks and valleys. There is sort of a reason. Like, it's not just random peaks and valleys. There's a pattern to it, or there's a thing that goes to it. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you later.